As the evening settles and the world outside grows quieter, let your body find stillness. Perhaps you are lying in bed, your head resting softly on a pillow, or perhaps you are simply reclining somewhere peaceful. Wherever you are, this is a time for calm listening, a time for soft learning, and a time for your thoughts to drift like clouds moving slowly across a night sky. Tonight, we begin a journey into human physiology, a word that may feel heavy or scientific at first, but in truth, it carries with it a very simple meaning. Physiology is the study of how your body works. It is the story of your breath, your heartbeat, your digestion, and your senses. It is not something distant or abstract, but something happening right now, within you, moment by moment, in quiet rhythm. Think of your body as a vast landscape. Within it are rivers, carrying life-giving currents. There are forests, branching networks of nerves and vessels, spreading in intricate patterns. There are quiet springs, filtering and cleansing, like the kidneys that purify your blood. And there are mountains, strong and protective, formed by your bones. In this landscape, every part is alive with motion, even if you cannot feel it directly. Physiology is the study of this living landscape. It is a way of listening to the body's language, the whispers of your cells, the steady beat of your heart, the gentle rise and fall of your breath. When we study physiology, we are not simply memorizing facts. We are entering into a kind of dialogue with the body, asking how it maintains balance, how it responds to change, and how it keeps life flowing with such quiet assurance. Right now, even as you rest, your body is working. Your lungs expand and contract without effort. Oxygen flows into your blood, while carbon dioxide slips away, leaving with the next exhale. Your heart continues its rhythm, steady and reliable, pushing blood through miles of vessels, reaching every cell, even the ones in your fingertips and toes. Your stomach, perhaps still digesting the day's meals, slowly breaks down food, turning it into energy and nourishment. And your brain, even as it begins to drift towards sleep, still directs countless processes without you having to think about them. This is the quiet wonder of physiology, that your body knows what to do. You do not need to command it to keep you alive. Like the tides of the ocean or the rising of the sun, these rhythms are steady and unbroken. When scientists study physiology, they often speak of systems: the nervous system, the cardiovascular system, the digestive system, and many more. Each system has its own role, its own unique way of contributing to the body's survival. Yet none of these systems stand alone. They are like sections of an orchestra. A violin may play its notes, the flute may carry its melody, and the drums may provide their rhythm. But the music only truly exists when all of them play together, in harmony. Your body is much the same. Its systems interact, cooperate, and support one another in a symphony of life. Imagine, for example, something as simple as taking a breath. Your respiratory system draws air into your lungs. Oxygen from that air passes into your blood, where the cardiovascular system carries it to your muscles and organs. Those muscles, supplied with oxygen, produce energy that allows you to move, to speak, even to listen now. And as this happens, the nervous system quietly oversees the process, making sure each contraction of your diaphragm, each signal to inhale and exhale, is perfectly timed. A simple breath is not the work of one system, but of many, flowing together as one. This, too, is physiology, the study of cooperation, of balance, of systems working together. As you listen, you may notice how the rhythm of words begins to echo the rhythm of your own body. Slow, steady, unhurried. Each sentence flows into the next, like waves on a calm shore. There is no need to hurry. This is not a lesson to be memorized, but a gentle exploration, a story told to soothe as much as to inform. We begin here, with a welcome, because every journey requires a beginning. In the chapters that follow, we will walk slowly through the body, pausing in each place, learning how it functions and how it supports the whole. We will speak of cells, the tiniest units of life. We will explore tissues, the body's living fabric. We will visit organs, each with its unique role, and then see how they join into systems that sustain you. We will learn of balance, of homeostasis, that quiet process by which your body keeps everything steady and stable. As we move deeper, we will spend time with the nervous system, the endocrine system, the cardiovascular system, and many others. Each system is a story, and each story is part of the greater whole. And as we close, we will return to the idea of rest, how physiology itself changes when the body sleeps, slowing down in some ways, yet remaining attentive in others. But for now, at this gentle beginning, the most important thing to remember is that physiology is not something separate from you. It is you. It is your breath, your heartbeat, your warmth, your senses, your stillness. To study physiology is to study the self, not in a philosophical way, but in a tangible, living way. It is the science of your own existence. So, as you lie here tonight, let the words move slowly across your mind. Let the thought of your body working quietly bring comfort. You are not required to do anything, not required to solve anything, not required to hold on to details. Simply allow the story of physiology to flow through you, like a gentle river winding its way through the landscape of your mind. This is our welcome, a soft opening into the study of life within, a reminder that your body is wise, that it maintains balance without demand, that it carries you through each day and into each night with gentle rhythm. From here, we will continue, slowly and calmly, into the deeper parts of physiology, but always with the same intention: to soothe, to inform, and to guide you into rest. 2. What physiology means. When we hear the word physiology, it may sound like something reserved for laboratories, textbooks, or long medical lectures. Yet, at its heart, physiology is something very close to you, so close, in fact, that it is happening within you at this very moment. To understand physiology is simply to understand life in motion, life unfolding gently, without pause. The word itself comes from Greek. Physis means nature, and logos means study or discourse. In its earliest use, physiology meant the study of nature. Over time, the word narrowed, shifting its focus from the whole of the natural world to the inner nature of the human body. Today, when we say physiology, we mean the study of how living systems function, how the breath flows, how the heart beats, how the blood moves, how the mind perceives, and how all these parts sustain one another. You might think of anatomy as the map, showing us the structures and shapes of the body. Physiology, then, is the story of how those structures live. Anatomy tells us that there is a heart, with chambers and valves. Physiology tells us how that heart squeezes, how the rhythm is maintained, how it adapts when you climb stairs or lie down to rest. Anatomy shows us the lungs, shaped like soft sponges within the chest, Physiology explains how air passes through them, how oxygen slips quietly into the blood, and how carbon dioxide is carried away. In this way, physiology is less about stillness and more about process. It is about the quiet choreography of the body, always moving, always adjusting. If you imagine anatomy as a painting, fixed and still, physiology is like a film, a living sequence of motion, unfolding second by second. At its core, physiology is guided by one simple principle: balance. Life is not about extremes, but about maintaining a steady path between them. Your body temperature must remain within a narrow range, neither too hot nor too cold. Your blood pressure must remain steady, high enough to deliver nutrients but low enough to avoid damage. Your blood sugar must be balanced, your water levels stable, your inner chemistry carefully tuned. This delicate stability is called homeostasis, and it is the central theme of physiology. Think of it this way: your body is like a home. Within this home, there is heating and cooling, keeping the temperature comfortable. There are pipes, bringing in fresh water and carrying away waste. There is a kitchen where food is prepared, transformed into nourishment. There is a security system, quietly protecting against intruders. And there are lights and wiring, carrying messages quickly from one place to another. All of this runs smoothly, quietly, without you having to think about it. Physiology is the study of that house, not just its walls and rooms, but the systems that keep it livable, balanced, and safe. Everyday examples can make this clearer. Imagine going for a walk on a warm summer evening. As you move, your muscles begin to work harder. They call for more oxygen, more energy. Your heart responds by beating faster, your breathing deepens, and your blood vessels widen to release excess heat. You begin to sweat, and as the sweat evaporates from your skin, it cools you. All of this happens automatically, without conscious thought. This is physiology at work, your body responding to change, keeping balance even as conditions shift. Or imagine a winter morning. The air is cold, and your body feels the chill. Almost immediately, your blood vessels near the skin tighten, conserving heat in the deeper parts of your body. You may begin to shiver, tiny rapid muscle contractions creating warmth. The fine hairs on your arms rise, attempting to trap air as a thin layer of insulation. Though subtle, these responses are the body's way of maintaining its steady inner state, even when the world outside becomes harsh. Again, physiology is the science that explains how and why this happens. Physiology does not belong only to humans. Every living organism has its own physiological processes. Plants, too, follow rhythms of growth, absorbing light and water, transforming energy in ways that sustain them. Fish extract oxygen from water. Birds have lightweight respiratory systems designed for flight. Yet, by studying human physiology in particular, we come closer to understanding ourselves, not in an abstract sense, but in the most immediate, bodily way. There is also something soothing in realizing that physiology is universal. The same processes you experience now: breathing, circulation, digestion, are shared by every person, across cultures, across languages, across times in history. Human physiology has remained constant. The heart has always pulsed, the lungs have always filled, the blood has always flowed. These rhythms connect us not only to each other, but to generations past, and to those yet to come. When we study physiology, we also begin to see how deeply connected every system of the body truly is. The nervous system does not work alone. It is shaped by signals from hormones. The digestive system does not simply act on its own. It relies on circulation to deliver nutrients and on muscles to move food along. The respiratory system is not separate. It depends on the heart to carry oxygen and remove carbon dioxide. Each system is both independent and interdependent, weaving together into a single living whole. And yet, despite its complexity, physiology also has a kind of simplicity. It always returns to the same themes: balance, adaptation, and connection. The details may seem intricate: molecules binding to receptors, electrical signals traveling through nerves, enzymes breaking down nutrients. But the pattern is always about maintaining life in the face of change. Perhaps the most calming way to think of physiology is as a rhythm, a quiet song of the body. Your heart keeps its beat, sometimes fast, sometimes slow, but always steady enough to sustain you. Your lungs carry their rhythm of breath, in and out, like waves on a shore. Even your brain, during sleep, shifts through cycles, patterns that gently rise and fall. All of physiology can be seen as a collection of these rhythms, weaving together in harmony. As we continue this session, we will step gradually deeper into these rhythms. We will speak of cells, the smallest living units, and how they form tissues and organs. We will look at the great systems: nervous, endocrine, cardiovascular, respiratory, and more, and learn how they cooperate. We will see how homeostasis is achieved through countless small adjustments, most of which pass unnoticed. And we will return, again and again, to the quiet reassurance that your body knows how to keep balance, even in rest. For now, let this idea settle gently. Physiology means the study of life's functions. It is the story of how you live, even as you sleep. It is the constant hum of processes that never stop, the unseen harmony that sustains you. To listen to physiology is to listen to yourself, your inner rhythms, your balance, your quiet strength. And so, with this understanding of what physiology means, we will move forward, slowly, softly, into the building blocks of life itself. For next comes the smallest unit, the cell, where physiology truly begins. 3. Levels of organization in the body. The human body, in all its quiet complexity, is not built all at once. It is arranged in gentle steps, like layers of a structure, each one supporting the next. To understand physiology, it helps to see these levels of organization from the smallest, invisible pieces of life to the great systems that sustain us as a whole. Think first of the smallest level, the atom. Though we cannot see them with our eyes, atoms are the basic building blocks of matter. They combine to form molecules, and those molecules, in turn, become the ingredients of life. Water, for example, is a simple molecule made of hydrogen and oxygen, yet it forms the majority of your body's weight. Proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, more complex molecules, weave together into the machinery of cells. Though we rarely pause to think of it, everything about you begins here, at the tiniest scale. From these molecules, we arrive at the cell, the most basic unit of life. A cell is like a miniature home, complete with its own walls, energy supply, and workers carrying out tasks. Within each cell, organelles move silently. Mitochondria produce energy, ribosomes build proteins, and the nucleus houses the delicate code of DNA. Each of your trillions of cells is alive, bustling with activity, even now, as you lie in stillness. Some cells are specialized to carry oxygen, shaped like smooth discs that flow easily through blood vessels. Others are long and thread-like, transmitting electrical impulses as nerve cells. Still others form barriers, lining your skin and organs with protective layers. Though tiny, each cell has a role, and together, they create the foundation of life. Cells do not exist alone. They join together to form tissues. A tissue is a group of similar cells working for a shared purpose. Your body has four basic kinds. Epithelial tissue forms coverings and linings, shaping the surfaces of skin, lungs, and digestive organs. Connective tissue holds the body together, ranging from soft fat tissue to strong bone. Muscle tissue contracts, producing movement and warmth. Whether it is the smooth muscle of the stomach or the skeletal muscle of your limbs. Nervous tissue carries signals, allowing the body to sense, think, and respond. Each tissue type is unique, yet all work together in the harmony of the body. When tissues combine, they form organs. An organ is a structure with a distinct shape and task, built from multiple tissues cooperating together. The heart, for example, is an organ made of muscle tissue, connective tissue, and nervous tissue. Together, these layers allow it to beat, to hold its form, and to stay connected to the body's wider systems. The stomach is another organ, blending muscle to churn food, glands to release digestive juices, and nerves to coordinate its timing. Organs are the landmarks of the body, familiar names like liver, kidney, brain, and lungs. Each is unique, yet none works alone. Beyond organs lie organ systems. A system is a collection of organs that join forces to accomplish broader tasks. The digestive system, for instance, includes the mouth, stomach, intestines, liver, and pancreas, all cooperating to transform food into energy. The respiratory system includes the lungs, trachea, and diaphragm, all ensuring the steady exchange of gases. The cardiovascular system, composed of the heart and blood vessels, carries nutrients and oxygen to every cell. In total, the body is often described as having 11 major organ systems, each with its own focus, yet all intertwined. Finally, all of these systems together create the organism you. The body as a whole is more than the sum of its parts. Just as an orchestra produces music greater than the sound of individual instruments, the human body creates life itself from the collaboration of its atoms, cells, tissues, organs, and systems. It is worth pausing here to notice something gentle and reassuring. The body is not a collection of separate compartments. Each level blends into the next, supporting and depending on one another. A single change at the smallest scale can ripple outward. For example, if a cell cannot produce enough energy, the tissue it belongs to may weaken. If a tissue falters, the organ may struggle. If the organ cannot perform its role, the entire system feels the effect. Yet the opposite is also true. When the smallest parts thrive, the larger whole is strengthened. Every level contributes to balance. This layered organization also shows us something about resilience. If one cell dies, others can take its place. If one tissue is injured, the body begins repair. If one organ struggles, other systems often step in to compensate. The body is not fragile. It is adaptive, always adjusting, always seeking harmony. Physiology is the study of these adjustments, the countless ways the body protects itself from imbalance. Consider a familiar example, your skin. At the smallest level, skin begins with cells tightly packed, forming barriers. These cells join into tissue, creating protective layers. Those tissues combine with others to form the skin as an organ, complete with glands, nerves, and blood supply. Finally, the skin joins the circulatory, nervous, and immune systems, playing a role in the whole body's defense and balance. In this way, the simple act of skin protecting you from the world is made possible by organization across every level. This structure, from atom to organism, is sometimes called the hierarchy of life. Each step builds on the one before, and with each step, new properties appear. A single muscle cell can contract, but only when millions contract together do we see the motion of a hand or the steady beat of a heart. A single nerve cell can send a signal, but only when countless neurons communicate do we experience thought, memory, or awareness. These are called emergent properties, abilities that arise at higher levels of organization, not visible at the lower levels alone. The levels of organization remind us that life is layered, and each layer has its place. None is more important than the other, for all are required. Without molecules, there can be no cells. Without cells, there can be no tissues. Without tissues, no organs. Without organs, no systems. And without systems working in harmony, there can be no living being. So, when we speak of physiology, we are always speaking of these layers. We begin with the smallest details, and we follow them upward, watching how they connect and expand until they create the full story of life. As you listen to this, let your mind wander gently. Imagine these levels not as sharp divisions, but as soft transitions, flowing one into another. Picture cells as tiny stars in the night sky, clustering together into constellations of tissue. Picture tissues joining into planets of organs, and those planets orbiting together as systems, forming the galaxy that is your body. All of it, vast yet unified, complete in its balance. And as the body rests tonight, these layers continue their quiet work. Cells repairing, tissues renewing, organs carrying out their steady rhythms. You do not need to guide them. You do not need to think of them. Your body knows its design. Physiology is simply the story of how that design is lived, moment by moment, from the smallest atom to the complete self. 4. The cell, the smallest living unit. If we look deep within the body, past the familiar organs and tissues, past even the flowing blood and the strong muscles, we eventually arrive at the smallest living structures that make life possible, the cells. To speak of physiology is to speak of cells, for they are the foundation upon which all else rests. Every heartbeat, every breath, every thought begins here in the quiet activity of countless tiny living units. A cell is the simplest form of life that can exist on its own. Alone, it is small, often invisible without a microscope, yet within that smallness lies remarkable complexity. Each cell is like a miniature world, a home with its own boundaries, workers, energy supply, and instructions. Just as a city has walls, roads, power stations, and libraries, so too does the cell contain structures that keep it alive and functioning. At its outer edge lies the cell membrane. This thin barrier is flexible, but strong, a gatekeeper deciding what may enter and what must remain outside. It allows in the nutrients the cell needs, like glucose and amino acids, while letting waste products leave. It also carries signals, receiving chemical messages from hormones or neighboring cells, ensuring that the cell never works in isolation, but remains part of the greater body's harmony. Within this boundary, the cell is filled with a gentle fluid called cytoplasm. Suspended in this fluid are the cell's organelles, specialized structures, each with its own task. The most famous of these is the nucleus, often called the control center. Inside the nucleus lies DNA, a delicate thread carrying the instructions for life. DNA is composed of long chains of nucleotides, but in its essence, it is a code, a set of patterns that determines what proteins the cell will make, how it will behave, and how it will contribute to the larger organism. Every cell in your body carries the same library of instructions, though not every cell reads every page. A muscle cell reads one set of instructions, a nerve cell, another. In this way, the DNA within you contains the blueprint for all that you are. Near the nucleus are the mitochondria, often called the powerhouses of the cell. Their role is to take in fuel, usually in the form of glucose, and transform it into usable energy through a process known as cellular respiration. The energy they create is packaged into molecules of ATP, adenosine triphosphate, which the cell then spends like coins to power its tasks. Whether it is a muscle cell contracting, or a nerve cell sending a signal, or a gland cell secreting a hormone, the energy behind it all flows from the mitochondria. Without these tiny structures, life as we know it would not continue. Scattered throughout the cytoplasm are ribosomes, the builders of proteins. Proteins are the workhorses of the body, forming enzymes that speed up chemical reactions, creating structural components like collagen, and even shaping the hemoglobin that carries oxygen in your blood. The ribosomes read the instructions copied from DNA and use them to assemble amino acids into precise sequences, folding them into the proteins that will serve the cell's needs. Supporting the ribosomes is a network of folded membranes called the endoplasmic reticulum. Some parts of it are studded with ribosomes, making it appear rough under a microscope. This rough ER is where many proteins are made and prepared. Other parts, the smooth ER, specialize in making lipids and in detoxifying harmful substances. Together, these folded surfaces provide the workspace for much of the cell's construction. Once proteins are created, they often travel to the Golgi apparatus, a stack of flattened sacks that function like a packaging center. Here, proteins are modified, sorted, and prepared for delivery, either to the cell's surface or to other parts of the body. It is as though the cell produces goods in a factory, and the Golgi apparatus ensures they are wrapped, labeled. Other organelles serve protective roles. Lysosomes are small sacs filled with enzymes that break down waste material, recycling what can be used and disposing of what cannot. Peroxisomes neutralize harmful molecules, keeping the cell safe. The cytoskeleton, a network of protein filaments, gives the cell its shape, anchors its organelles, and provides pathways for movement inside the cell. Taken together, these structures allow the cell to perform all the basic tasks of life. It takes in nutrients, produces energy, builds proteins, removes waste, and responds to its environment. Alone, a single cell is a marvel of self-sufficiency. But in the human body, cells rarely exist alone. Instead, trillions of them cooperate, each one playing a part in tissues and organs. Cells also communicate with one another constantly. Chemical signals travel from cell to cell, carrying instructions. Hormones in the blood may tell a liver cell to release glucose, or a muscle cell to grow stronger. Nerve impulses may trigger a gland to release saliva, or a heart cell to contract. Even when separated by distance, cells remain in contact, ensuring that the body functions as one. Though cells are tiny, they are not all the same. The human body contains over 200 distinct types. Red blood cells, carrying oxygen, are shaped like smooth discs. perfectly designed to flow easily through vessels. White blood cells, protectors of the body, shift and move, seeking out invaders. Muscle cells are long and strong, capable of contraction. Neurons, the cells of the nervous system, are elongated, with branching arms that allow them to send signals across long distances. The diversity of cell types is what allows the body to carry out its many functions. And yet, all cells share common features: the membrane, the cytoplasm, the DNA-based instructions, and the ability to produce energy. These shared features remind us that life, in all its variety, is unified at its base. The cell is the smallest living unit, and from it, all else arises. If you imagine your body as a vast community, then the cells are its citizens. Each one is small, but together they form the fabric of your being. They live, they work, they communicate, and eventually, they die and are replaced. Their lifespans may be short days or weeks for some years, for others, but the community continues, constantly renewing itself. As you rest tonight, your cells are working. They are dividing, replacing old structures with new. They are repairing tiny injuries, mending tissues you may not even know were worn. They are generating energy, producing proteins, sending signals, and maintaining balance. This activity is invisible, yet it is continuous, and it is the very essence of life. The study of physiology begins here, at the cellular level, because all of life's complexity flows outward from this point. To understand the cell is to understand the foundation. From here, we will rise upward to tissues, to organs, and to systems. But always, at the base, are the cells, the smallest living units, carrying the quiet miracle of life within them. 5. Tissues, the body's fabric. When we look deeper into the body, beyond the single living cell, we find the next layer of organization: tissues. A tissue is a gathering of cells, many thousands, sometimes millions, bound together by similarity and purpose. If a cell is like a single note, a tissue is a phrase of music, repeated and reinforced until its sound becomes strong enough to be heard. Each tissue type has its own tone, its own rhythm, and together they form the fabric of the body. The human body is composed of 4 major kinds of tissue, and each one contributes in a distinct but cooperative way. First are the tissues that line and cover. These cells are pressed closely together, like tiles arranged with no gaps. They form the surface of the skin, shielding what lies beneath. They also line the airways, the digestive tract, the blood vessels, and the many secretory glands scattered throughout the body. This kind of tissue is both barrier and doorway. It protects against harm, but it also allows exchange. It permits oxygen to slip into the bloodstream in the lungs, allows nutrients from food to pass into the body through the intestines, and filters waste in the kidneys so that only what is necessary is retained. Its shapes vary depending on location. Sometimes the cells are thin and flat, allowing substances to pass quickly across. Sometimes they are tall and stacked, providing strength and resilience. The many layers of skin, for instance, are built from this tissue, offering a durable shield against the outside world. The second great family of tissues provides support and connection. If the lining tissues are the surface of fabric, then the supporting tissues are the stitching and the padding that give it strength. This is the most abundant group, and also the most diverse. Bones are one form of this tissue, hardened by minerals, forming a framework that supports the entire body. Cartilage is another form, more flexible, cushioning the joints, shaping the ears and nose, allowing for smooth motion. Even fat belongs to this family, storing energy, cushioning organs, and insulating the body to preserve warmth. Blood, though fluid, is also part of this group. It may seem very different from bone or cartilage, but it, too, is made of cells suspended in a supportive medium, carrying oxygen, nutrients, and signals to every other tissue. What ties all of these together is the material found between their cells, a matrix of fibers and ground substance that provides both strength and resilience. In this way, connective tissues truly live up to their name, binding, supporting, and linking the entire body into one. Another essential type of tissue is responsible for motion. These are the muscle tissues, specialized for contraction. At the smallest level, muscle fibers shorten and lengthen, a simple action, but when combined, the effect is powerful. There are three main forms of muscle. One type moves voluntarily, attached to bones, allowing you to walk, to lift, to smile, to breathe with intention. Another type lines the organs, moving without thought, churning food in the stomach, propelling blood through vessels, pushing air through the lungs. The third type beats within the heart itself, contracting rhythmically, tirelessly, every moment of life. Though different in texture and control, all muscle tissue is built on the same principle: cells designed for motion, working together to create force and rhythm. Without this tissue, the body would be still. With it, the body lives in motion, even when at rest, for the heart beats and the intestines flow without pause. The final great type of tissue carries information. Nervous tissue is composed of long, branching cells that transmit signals with speed and precision. These signals may carry sensation from the skin to the brain, the awareness of touch or temperature. They may carry commands from the brain to the muscles, directing motion. They may even remain within the brain itself, weaving thought, memory, and emotion. Each nerve cell has a body, where its vital functions are maintained, and long extensions that reach outward, some carrying messages away, others receiving them. Though a single cell can pass only one signal at a time, together they form vast networks, allowing the body to act as a unified whole. Nervous tissue is unique, for it is not only responsive, but adaptive. It learns, strengthens, and reshapes its connections over time. It allows the body not just to exist, but to sense, to remember, and to imagine. Taken together, these four kinds of tissue, the covering, the supporting, the moving, and the signaling, make up every structure in the human body. No organ exists without them, and no function proceeds without their cooperation. The skin, for example, is not just a surface covering. Beneath its layers of lining cells lies connective tissue, providing elasticity and strength. Interwoven through it are nerves, bringing sensations of heat and touch, and within it are tiny muscles, causing hairs to rise in the cold. Even the simplest structure, then, is a tapestry of tissues working as one. What is striking about tissues is not only their diversity, but their unity. Each arises from the same humble beginnings, the same cells in early development, which then specialize, taking on roles that will last a lifetime. A nerve cell becomes a messenger, a muscle cell, a mover, a skin cell, a guardian, a bone cell, a builder. Once chosen, their paths are set, and they dedicate themselves fully to their purpose. In this way, Tissues remind us of cooperation, that life depends not on the power of one, but on the harmony of many. As you lie in stillness tonight, your tissues are working silently. Your muscle tissues keep your heart beating, even as you sleep. Your epithelial tissues protect you, forming a barrier between your inner world and the night air. Your connective tissues hold you together, giving strength to your bones, softness to your joints, warmth to your body. Your nervous tissues continue to send signals, shaping dreams, regulating your breath, ensuring your safety in the darkness. They work without pause, without need for thanks, tirelessly carrying you forward. To think of tissues is to think of fabric, a fabric woven not of threads, but of cells, each strand small and fragile, but together forming something strong, resilient, and alive. From this living fabric, the organs of the body take shape, and from those organs come the systems that sustain us. In this layered way, the human body is built. Simple cells form tissues. Tissues form organs. Organs join into systems, and systems together create the living person. So, as we close this reflection on tissues, let your thoughts rest on the idea of harmony. Your body is a quilt of tissues, each with its role, each contributing to the whole. Their cooperation is quiet, but essential. They remind us that strength is found not only in the individual part, but in the joining together of many. This is the story of tissues, the fabric of life, woven within you, carrying you gently into rest. 6. Organs and organ systems. From the fabric of tissues arise structures of even greater complexity. The organs. If tissues are the woven threads of the body, then organs are the garments they create, each with its own shape, its own design, and its own purpose. An organ is made from 2 or more types of tissue, arranged carefully, each contributing its strength. When these tissues join, the result is not just a cluster of cells, but a functioning structure that can perform tasks no tissue could accomplish alone. Consider the heart. Within it are muscle tissues, thick and strong, contracting with each beat. There are connective tissues, forming valves that open and close like silent doors, and fibers that anchor the heart in place. There are epithelial tissues lining the chambers, smooth and protective, ensuring blood flows without friction. There are nerve tissues that deliver the signals to contract, keeping the rhythm steady and true. Together, these tissues create something greater than their parts, a pump that works tirelessly from the first moments of life to the very last. The stomach is another example. Layers of muscle tissues churn and mix food, contracting slowly and rhythmically. Glands lined with epithelial cells release acids and enzymes, breaking down what has been eaten. Connective tissue provides strength and flexibility, while nerve tissue coordinates the timing of these processes, ensuring digestion flows with precision. The stomach is not just a sack for food, it is an organ, an intricate system within itself, blending tissues into a single, purposeful whole. Every organ of the body follows this pattern. The lungs, delicate yet expansive, draw in air and allow gases to exchange. The liver, large and complex, processes nutrients, stores energy, and cleanses toxins from the blood. The kidneys filter and balance the body's fluids, while the skin, the largest organ, shields the body and regulates temperature. The brain, perhaps the most mysterious of all, contains billions of nerve cells, forming thoughts, guiding movement, shaping every experience. Each organ is unique, yet all share this unifying principle. Tissues working together to serve life. But the story does not end with organs. Organs rarely act in isolation. Instead, they join forces with others to form organ systems, groups of organs connected by shared tasks, each contributing to a larger function of the body. These systems are the grand cooperatives of physiology, the teams that keep life flowing. The circulatory system is one such team. At its center is the heart, pumping with steady rhythm. Alongside it are the blood vessels, branching like rivers, carrying red blood cells filled with oxygen, white blood cells guarding against invaders, and platelets ready to heal wounds. Together, these organs and tissues ensure that every part of the body is nourished, connected, and alive. The respiratory system joins closely with it. The lungs, with their countless tiny air sacs, open to the world with each breath. The trachea and bronchi guide air inward, while the diaphragm, a great dome of muscle, expands and contracts to draw air in and out. This system ensures oxygen is delivered, not for its own sake, but so the circulatory system can carry it to every waiting cell. Here we see how systems cooperate, each depending on the other, weaving their efforts into one. The digestive system is another great union. The mouth begins the process, teeth grinding, saliva moistening. The stomach continues, breaking food into smaller pieces. The intestines absorb nutrients. The liver processes them. The pancreas provides enzymes. The gallbladder releases bile. Each organ plays its part, and together they transform what you eat into the energy that sustains you. The urinary system partners quietly in the background. The kidneys filter the blood, removing waste while conserving water and salts. The ureters guide urine to the bladder, where it is stored until release. These organs ensure balance, preventing the body's inner waters from becoming polluted or unstable. Without their continuous work, life could not continue for long. The muscular system and the skeletal system form another partnership, one of movement and support. Bones provide the framework, strong yet light, protecting organs and storing minerals. Muscles attach to them, contracting and relaxing to create motion. Ligaments and tendons, forms of connective tissue, hold everything in place, transmitting the pull of muscle to the strength of bone. Together, these systems allow the body not only to move through the world, but to stand upright, to grasp, to walk, to rest. The nervous system oversees it all, carrying messages with speed, sensing changes, and guiding responses. Its central organ, the brain, works with the spinal cord and branching nerves, ensuring that no system works in isolation. Alongside it, the endocrine system provides slower, longer-lasting guidance through hormones, chemical messages drifting through the bloodstream, shaping growth, metabolism, and mood. The immune system, less visible, serves as a guardian. Its organs, the lymph nodes, the spleen, the thymus work quietly to defend the body. The skin, too, joins in this protection, as do the bone marrow and circulating white blood cells. Though scattered across the body, these organs form a network united by their shared role of keeping you safe. The reproductive system is another, ensuring continuity of life. It includes organs distinct in male and female bodies, yet its purpose is the same: to create new life, to carry forward the story of humanity. Though it may not be required for individual survival, It is essential for the survival of the species, and so it is honored among the great organ systems. Even the skin, hair, and nails form a system of their own. The integumentary system protecting the body, regulating heat, and providing the first line of defense against the outside world. In total, the body is often described as having 11 major organ systems. Each one has its role, and each one is vital, yet none stands apart. They are like chapters in a single book, their stories blending into one another. To breathe requires not only the lungs but the heart to carry oxygen. To move requires not only muscles but nerves to signal and bones to anchor. To digest requires not only the stomach and intestines but blood to carry nutrients and hormones to regulate the process. Each system leans on the others, and together they form the organism that is you. This layered structure, tissues forming organs, organs joining into systems, systems uniting into the body, is the architecture of life. It shows us that the human body is not simply a machine of parts, but a living community, where cooperation is the rule, and balance is the goal. As you rest, these organs and systems work quietly. Your heart beats, your lungs draw air, your stomach processes what you have eaten, your kidneys filter, your brain dreams. None of them sleeps entirely. They take turns, some slowing while others remain alert, always ensuring that balance is preserved. You do not command them, yet they continue faithfully, each organ and each system fulfilling its role. To think of organs and systems is to think of harmony. Each plays its part, none louder than the others, each necessary for the whole. Like instruments in an orchestra, they join together to create the music of life, a symphony that has played within you since your first breath, and will continue, steady and sure, through every moment of rest and waking. 7. Homeostasis. Balance in action. At the heart of physiology lies a quiet principle, a steady thread that weaves through every process of the human body. This principle is homeostasis. The word may sound complex, yet its meaning is simple. It refers to the balance of the body, the constancy of its inner environment, the careful adjustments that keep life steady, no matter how the world outside may change. Imagine a candle flame. To keep burning, the flame must remain at just the right conditions. Too much wind, and it will flicker out. Too little air, and it will fade. Yet with the right balance, it glows softly, steady, unwavering. Your body is much like this flame. It survives because it can remain stable, even as its surroundings shift. The temperature of the world may rise or fall. The food you eat may vary from day to day. You may run and sweat, or you may lie still and rest. Yet through it all, your body works constantly to hold its inner state steady. This constancy is not rigid, but flexible, always adjusting, always moving in small ways to preserve the whole. Consider body temperature. The human body thrives at a narrow range, close to 37 degrees Celsius, or 98 degrees Fahrenheit. If you step into the heat of summer, your body begins to cool itself. Blood vessels near the skin open, allowing heat to escape. Sweat glands release moisture, which evaporates, carrying warmth away. If you step into the cold of winter, the opposite occurs. Blood vessels tighten, conserving heat. Muscles shiver, producing warmth through tiny, rapid contractions. Even the fine hairs of the skin lift slightly, a remnant of our evolutionary past, seeking to trap air and preserve heat. In both heat and cold, your body responds with quiet precision, always seeking the middle path, always returning to balance. Another example lies in the regulation of blood sugar. After a meal, when glucose levels rise in the blood, the pancreas releases insulin, a hormone that guides cells to absorb and store the extra energy. Later, when hours have passed and glucose levels begin to fall, the pancreas releases another hormone, glucagon, which signals the liver to release stored sugar back into the blood. In this way, blood sugar remains steady, never rising too high or falling too low, ensuring that every cell has the fuel it needs to survive. The same principle governs water balance. The body is composed largely of water, and this fluid must be carefully preserved. If water levels drop, perhaps through sweating or lack of drinking, sensors in the brain detect the change. The brain responds by triggering thirst, urging you to drink, and by signaling the kidneys to conserve water, producing more concentrated urine. If water levels rise too high, perhaps after drinking quickly, the kidneys respond in the opposite way, releasing the excess fluid. Through these gentle adjustments, your body remains hydrated, its inner waters steady and sure. Even something as invisible as blood pH is tightly controlled. The chemistry of your blood must remain within a narrow range, neither too acidic nor too alkaline. Buffers in the blood, the lungs, and the kidneys all work together to maintain this balance. If acidity rises, the lungs breathe more deeply, expelling carbon dioxide, while the kidneys excrete hydrogen ions. If alkalinity grows, the processes shift the other way. You may never feel these changes, yet they are constant, happening in silence, protecting you every moment. This constancy is achieved through feedback, a cycle of sensing and responding. Sensors in the body detect changes, comparing them to an ideal state, often called a set point. If the body drifts away from that point, responses are triggered to bring it back. Most often, this is done through what is called negative feedback, where a change produces a response that reverses it. For example, if body temperature rises, mechanisms work to cool it. If temperature falls, mechanisms work to warm it. In this way, the body acts like a careful caretaker, always guiding itself back to balance. There are also moments of positive feedback, though these are rarer. In positive feedback, a change triggers a response that amplifies it, rather than reversing it. One example is the process of childbirth. As labor begins, the release of a hormone called oxytocin causes contractions. Those contractions, in turn, trigger more oxytocin release, which strengthens contractions further. The cycle continues, building and intensifying until the baby is born. Though brief, this process shows that not all feedback seeks calm. Sometimes the body must build momentum toward an important conclusion. Homeostasis is not perfection. It is not an unchanging stillness. Rather, it is a dynamic equilibrium, a balance maintained through constant adjustment. Like a boat on water, it sways and shifts, but always rights itself. The body may tilt one way or the other, but never drifts too far before correction begins. This flexibility is what allows life to continue, even in changing conditions. What is most soothing to consider is how little effort this requires from you. You do not think about your temperature, your blood sugar, your water balance, or your blood pH. These processes unfold automatically, guided by systems of sensors, hormones, and nerves. They are the silent guardians of your inner world, working even now as you lie and rest to keep you steady. At times, when balance is disrupted beyond the body's ability to restore, illness can appear. Yet even then, the body struggles to return to its set points, fighting always for equilibrium. Health itself is nothing more than homeostasis maintained, while disease often reflects its disruption. In this way, the principle of homeostasis lies at the very center of life and medicine alike. As you rest tonight, your body is practicing homeostasis. Your heart beats with steady rhythm, neither too fast nor too slow. Your lungs breathe in and out, adjusting gently to the needs of your cells. Your kidneys quietly filter, your pancreas regulates. Your blood vessels widen and narrow in silent response. These processes are not loud or dramatic. They are gentle, ongoing, and faithful, holding you in balance. So let this thought guide you into stillness. Your body is not fragile, but wise. It knows how to maintain itself. It has within it the knowledge to keep you steady, the rhythms to preserve your warmth, the chemistry to sustain your energy, and the guardians to hold your inner waters in place. This is homeostasis, balance in action, harmony within. It is the body's quiet gift, and it continues for you, moment by moment, as you drift further into calm and rest. 8. The nervous system. Rapid messages. Deep within the human body lies a network of extraordinary complexity, a system of communication so vast and so finely tuned that it connects every cell, every sensation, every motion, and every thought. This is the nervous system, the body's rapid messenger, carrying signals with remarkable speed, linking distant parts into one unified whole. Without it, the body would be a collection of silent organs, each working in isolation. With it, the body becomes a community, aware of itself and responsive to the world. The nervous system begins with the brain, that soft, folded organ, resting within the shelter of the skull. Though it weighs only a little more than a kilogram, it contains billions of nerve cells, each branching into countless connections. These cells form intricate patterns, circuits that guide not only movement and sensation, but also memory, imagination, and awareness. From the brain flows the spinal cord, a long, protected column of nerve tissue extending down through the spine, carrying signals between the brain and the rest of the body. Together, the brain and spinal cord form what is called the central nervous system, the core of command and integration. From this central core extend countless branching nerves, like rivers flowing outward from a great lake. These nerves spread through the limbs, the torso, the face, and every organ, forming what is known as the peripheral nervous system. Through these branching pathways, the central system can both sense the outer world and send instructions back. At the smallest level, this communication is carried by cells called neurons. A neuron is a messenger cell, shaped to send and receive signals. Each has a body, where energy is produced and instructions are carried out, and long extensions that reach outward. One extension, the axon, carries signals away from the cell body, while the shorter dendrites receive signals coming in. When an electrical impulse travels along the axon, it reaches the end of the neuron, where chemical messengers called neurotransmitters are released. These drift across a tiny gap to the next neuron, triggering a new impulse there. In this way, signals leap from cell to cell, forming chains that can stretch across the entire body. Though each impulse is tiny, their speed is remarkable. Some travel at more than 100 meters per second, faster than the blink of an eye. This speed allows the body to react quickly, to withdraw a hand from something hot, to catch balance when slipping, to respond to a sudden sound. At the same time, slower, more deliberate pathways carry messages of thought and decision, guiding actions with care. The nervous system is both swift and precise, adjusting its speed and method to the needs of the moment. Within the nervous system, there is both voluntary and involuntary control. Voluntary actions are those you choose: moving a hand, speaking a word, walking across a room. These are guided by the somatic nervous system, which carries signals to the skeletal muscles, the muscles under conscious control. Involuntary actions, however, are governed by the autonomic nervous system, which manages processes beyond your awareness: the beating of the heart, the widening of pupils, the secretion of glands, the contractions of the digestive tract. The autonomic system itself has two complementary branches. One is often called the sympathetic branch, responsible for preparing the body for activity, heightening alertness, quickening the heart, directing blood to muscles. The other is the parasympathetic branch, which brings the body back to rest, slowing the heart, guiding digestion, conserving energy. These two branches act like partners in a dance, one energizing, the other calming, together maintaining balance. Even now, as you rest, the parasympathetic system is guiding you towards stillness, slowing the rhythm of the body, preparing it for sleep. The nervous system is not limited to the body alone. It also connects you to the world outside. Through sensory organs, the eyes, the ears, the nose, the tongue, and the skin, it gathers information. Light becomes vision, vibrations become sound, chemical molecules become smell and taste, and pressure becomes touch. Each sensation is carried inward through nerve pathways, interpreted by the brain, and woven into experience. At the same time, the nervous system sends signals outward, guiding motion, speech, expression, every interaction with the environment. In this way, it makes you both a receiver and a participant, both aware of the world and active within it. What is most remarkable is how seamlessly these processes occur. You do not think of each impulse, each neurotransmitter, each synapse. The signals travel automatically, creating the smooth flow of experience. To touch an object and feel its texture, to move your hand in response, to form the words to describe it. All of this is physiology in action, the nervous system working quietly beneath awareness. There is also memory. Within the circuits of the brain, patterns of activity can be stored and recalled. Some memories are short, lasting only moments. Others are long, carried across years. These, too, are built on the activity of neurons, forming connections that strengthen with use. To remember is simply to revisit a path once walked, a path of signals strengthened by repetition. Even in sleep, the nervous system does not cease. It shifts into different patterns, guiding the cycles of rest, shaping dreams, regulating the rhythms of the body. The brain remains active, processing and restoring, even as consciousness drifts. The spinal cord continues to send signals, maintaining posture and basic reflexes. The autonomic system continues its quiet work, slowing breath, guiding digestion, conserving energy. The nervous system never truly sleeps, for its role is to sustain the body through every moment. As you listen to this, it may be comforting to know that your nervous system is active, keeping you safe, guiding your breath, maintaining your balance. It is like a vast network of roads, carrying signals across the landscape of your body, never congested, never lost, always arriving at their destination. It is like a community of messengers, each one small, but together, sustaining life. So let the thought of the nervous system bring you calm. It is not a system of stress or tension, but one of harmony and connection. It binds the body together, unites sensation with action, links the present with memory, ties the inner world to the outer. It is a system of communication, and it speaks constantly, even now, in silence. This is the nervous system, the body's rapid messenger. It is the spark of thought, the reflex of motion, the rhythm of rest. It is both swift and gentle, both vigilant and soothing. It carries you through every waking moment, and it remains with you as you drift into sleep, ensuring that life flows steadily, uninterrupted, through the night. 9. The endocrine system, messages in the blood. While the nervous system sends its messages with lightning speed, carried by electrical impulses and fleeting neurotransmitters, the body also holds another, slower, more enduring way of communication. This is the endocrine system, the system of hormones, chemical messengers that drift gently through the blood, carrying signals from one place to another, shaping growth, metabolism, and mood. Where the nervous system is swift and precise, the endocrine system is gradual, its effects lasting minutes, hours, or even years. Together, they balance one another, one providing rapid response, the other offering steady guidance. Hormones are the language of the endocrine system. They are molecules released by specialized glands into the bloodstream, where they travel to distant organs and tissues. Each hormone carries a message, and only the cells with the proper receptors, tiny locks waiting for the right key, can respond. Once the hormone binds, the cell adjusts its behavior, altering how it uses energy, how it grows, or how it interacts with its neighbors. In this way, hormones coordinate functions across the entire body, ensuring that no organ works alone. The story of the endocrine system begins with its central coordinator, the pituitary gland, often called the master gland. It is small, no larger than a pea, resting at the base of the brain, yet its influence is vast. It releases hormones that guide many other glands, directing them when to release their own signals. The pituitary works in close connection with the hypothalamus, a region of the brain that senses the body's state and ensures the pituitary responds appropriately. Together, they form the link between the nervous and endocrine systems, blending rapid perception with slower hormonal adjustment. From here, the endocrine system spreads throughout the body. In the throat lies the thyroid gland, shaped like a butterfly, releasing hormones that set the pace of metabolism. These hormones influence how quickly the body burns fuel, how warm it remains, how energetic it feels. When thyroid hormones rise, metabolism quickens, heat and energy increase. When they fall, metabolism slows, conserving resources. Around the thyroid are the smaller parathyroid glands, which help regulate calcium, ensuring bones remain strong and nerves and muscles function smoothly. In the chest lies the thymus, important in early life for guiding the development of the immune system. Lower in the body rests the pancreas, a gland with both digestive and endocrine roles. Its endocrine cells release insulin and glucagon, the hormones that balance blood sugar. When sugar rises after a meal, insulin signals cells to absorb and store it. When sugar falls, glucagon signals the liver to release more. Through this steady push and pull, the pancreas keeps blood sugar within narrow limits, protecting the body's energy supply. The adrenal glands, perched like small caps atop the kidneys, release hormones essential for balance and survival. Among them is cortisol, which helps regulate metabolism and manage the body's response to stress, and aldosterone, which influences water and salt balance. The adrenal glands also produce adrenaline, a hormone that works with the sympathetic nervous system to prepare the body for activity. Yet while adrenaline acts swiftly, fading quickly once the need passes, cortisol lingers, shaping the body's state more gradually. The gonads, the ovaries in females and the testes in males release hormones that guide reproduction, fertility, and secondary sexual traits. Estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone influence not only reproductive function, but also bone health, muscle mass, and mood. These hormones remind us that physiology is not only about survival in the present, but also about continuity, the carrying of life into the future. Even the pineal gland, a small structure deep in the brain, has its role. It releases melatonin, a hormone that regulates sleep-wake cycles, rising in the darkness of night, falling with the light of day. In this way, the endocrine system ties the rhythms of the body to the rhythms of the world, synchronizing internal time with the turning of the earth. What is striking about the endocrine system is how it achieves so much with so little. Hormones are released in tiny amounts, yet their influence spreads across the entire body. A few molecules can shift the behavior of countless cells. Their effects may be subtle at first, a gradual increase in energy, a gentle feeling of calm, a slow adjustment in growth, but over time, they shape the body's entire state of being. The endocrine system also works through feedback loops, similar to those seen in homeostasis. If a hormone rises too high, signals are sent to reduce its release. If it falls too low, production is stimulated. In this way, balance is maintained. The thyroid, for example, responds to signals from the pituitary, which in turn responds to the hypothalamus, which senses the body's state. Together, they ensure hormones remain in just the right range. Never too much, never too little, always guiding the body toward equilibrium. The influence of hormones extends beyond simple physical processes. They shape emotions, behavior, and thought. Cortisol rises with stress, sharpening alertness. Oxytocin rises with touch and connection, fostering bonding and trust. Endorphins are released during exercise, easing pain and lifting mood. Even the simple cycle of waking and sleeping is guided by melatonin, drawing you into rest as night deepens. The endocrine system, then, is not just a physical messenger, it is also a shaper of experience, weaving together body and mind. As with other systems, its work is constant. You may not feel your thyroid adjusting metabolism, or your pancreas balancing blood sugar, or your adrenal glands guiding water balance. Yet these processes continue, hour after hour, silently, faithfully. Even now, as you lie in stillness, your endocrine system is active. Hormones drift through your bloodstream, carrying their messages, shaping your state, ensuring balance. Some are helping you settle, preparing the body for rest. Others are adjusting metabolism, ensuring you have energy for tomorrow. To think of the endocrine system is to think of gentle communication. It is not urgent or forceful. It is steady, gradual, guiding the body through the longer rhythms of life. It is the slow hand of physiology, complementing the swift hand of the nervous system, together creating harmony. So as you rest, remember this: within your blood, countless tiny messengers are moving. They travel without noise, without haste, carrying signals that sustain you. They are the whispers of the body, shaping its balance, guiding its cycles, preparing it gently for the days and nights to come. This is the endocrine system messages in the blood, soft and enduring, weaving through you even now as you drift deeper into calm. 10. The cardiovascular system, a river within. Within your body flows a river, constant and unbroken, winding through every tissue, every organ, every cell. It is not a river of water alone, but of blood rich with oxygen, nutrients, and signals, carrying life to the farthest corners of your being. This river, with its endless motion, is guided by the cardiovascular system, a system of heart, blood, and vessels that together form the great transport network of the body. At the center of this system lies the heart. Though no larger than a closed fist, it is among the most tireless organs in existence. From before birth until the very end of life, the heart beats steadily, a rhythmic pump that never pauses, never rests. Each beat propels blood into the vessels, sending it outward in pulses that ripple through the body. The heart is divided into 4 chambers, 2 atria above and 2 ventricles below. The atria receive blood, gently collecting it before passing it downward. The ventricles provide the force, contracting with strength to send blood forward into the lungs and throughout the body. Between these chambers lie valves, delicate yet strong, opening and closing with each beat, ensuring that blood flows only in one direction, never backward, always forward. From the heart, blood takes 2 great pathways. One is the pulmonary circuit, the route to the lungs. Here, blood low in oxygen travels through the pulmonary arteries, reaching the tiny air sacs where gases are exchanged. Oxygen enters, carbon dioxide leaves, and the blood returns refreshed. The other is the systemic circuit, the route to the rest of the body. Here, oxygen-rich blood leaves the heart through the aorta, the largest artery, branching again and again into smaller vessels until it reaches every organ, every tissue, every cell. The vessels themselves are of 3 main kinds. Arteries carry blood away from the heart, their walls thick and elastic, able to withstand the high pressure of each pulse. Veins carry blood back toward the heart, their walls thinner, assisted by valves that prevent backflow, and by the gentle contractions of surrounding muscles. Between them lie the capillaries, the smallest vessels, so narrow that red blood cells must pass single file. It is here, in the capillaries, that exchange occurs, oxygen delivered, nutrients supplied, carbon dioxide, and wastes collected. The network of capillaries is vast, stretching across the entire body, ensuring that no cell is far from its life-giving supply. The blood itself is a living tissue, composed of many elements. The red blood cells, filled with hemoglobin, carry oxygen from the lungs to the tissues and return with carbon dioxide to be exhaled. Their shape, biconcave and flexible, allows them to squeeze through the narrowest vessels, always delivering their cargo. White blood cells serve as defenders, moving to sites of injury or infection, protecting the body against harm. Platelets assist in repair, gathering at wounds to form clots and seal breaks in the vessels. Suspended in plasma, a fluid rich with water, proteins, hormones, and nutrients, these elements travel together, forming the river of blood. The flow of this river is not constant, but adaptable. When you rest, blood moves calmly, the heart slowing, the vessels relaxed. When you exercise, The heart quickens, sending more oxygen to the muscles, while blood is diverted from the digestive tract to the tissues in need. When you feel fear or excitement, hormones direct blood to vital organs, preparing the body for response. In every situation, the cardiovascular system adjusts, redirecting flow, changing pace, always preserving balance. This adaptability is guided by feedback from the body. Sensors in the vessels monitor pressure, sending signals to the brain, which adjusts the heart rate and vessel diameter as needed. Hormones influence the volume of blood, telling the kidneys to conserve or release water. Muscles surrounding veins contract to help push blood upward against gravity, especially from the legs. Each part contributes, ensuring that blood continues to flow. Never stagnant, always moving. It is remarkable to consider the distances traveled. The average human body contains about 5 liters of blood, yet this volume circulates completely through the heart and vessels many times each day. In a lifetime, the heart may beat more than 3 billion times, pumping enough blood to fill countless rivers. And yet, this happens quietly, beneath awareness, without pause. The cardiovascular system is more than transport. It is also communication. Hormones released by distant glands travel in the blood, reaching target tissues. Immune cells move through the vessels, patrolling the body. Heat is carried and distributed, warming the core, cooling the skin, regulating temperature. In this way, the river of blood does more than nourish. It connects, informs, and balances. Even at this moment, as you lie in stillness, your heart beats, your vessels carry, your blood flows. Oxygen from the air you breathe is moving through arteries to your brain, your muscles, your organs. Nutrients from your last meal are carried to the cells that need them. Waste products are gathered and returned for removal. This river within never ceases, for to stop would be to end life itself. And yet, despite its constant motion, it is calming to think of. The rhythm of the heart is like a drumbeat, steady and reassuring. The flow of blood is like the current of a river, smooth and continuous. The vessels form a branching forest, each path leading to another, every cell included, none left behind. To imagine this within you is to imagine harmony, a balance of flow, a cycle of giving and receiving. The cardiovascular system is a reminder of connection. Every cell depends on it. Every organ is nourished by it. Every moment of life is supported by its flow. It is not something you must command. It is not something you must notice. It is always there, a faithful river within, sustaining you through waking and sleeping, through exertion and rest. So as you settle deeper into calm, let your thoughts drift with this river. Imagine the heart's steady rhythm, the gentle branching of vessels, the quiet movement of blood. Imagine oxygen drifting into cells, carbon dioxide drifting away, nutrients delivered, wastes removed, all of it happening without effort, without sound, without interruption. This is the cardiovascular system, the river within, flowing for you always, as you drift further into peace. 11. The respiratory system, breath and exchange. At the very center of life is breath. Each inhale draws the world within, and each exhale returns part of it back again. Breathing is so constant, so natural, that we rarely notice it. Yet it is among the most essential of all bodily rhythms. The respiratory system is the body's gateway to air, the bridge between the inner world and the outer atmosphere, the quiet process that allows oxygen to enter and carbon dioxide to leave. Without it, life would end in moments. With it, life flows unbroken, breath by breath. The journey of air begins at the nose and mouth. Here, the air is drawn in, warmed, moistened, and filtered. Tiny hairs catch dust, pollen, and particles, while mucus traps and removes what does not belong. From here, the air passes into the pharynx, and then into the trachea. The windpipe, a firm yet flexible tube that guides the flow downward. Along its walls are rings of cartilage, preventing collapse, keeping the airway open at all times. The trachea divides into two bronchi, one leading to each lung. These bronchi branch again and again, like the limbs of a great tree, becoming smaller bronchioles until they reach the tiniest passages. At their ends lie the alveoli, delicate air sacs, thousands upon thousands of them, clustered like grapes. It is here, in these tiny chambers, that the true exchange takes place. Oxygen passes from the air into the thin walls of the alveoli, slipping into the blood that flows past in capillaries. At the same time, carbon dioxide, a waste product of metabolism, passes out of the blood and into the alveoli to be exhaled. This exchange is simple, yet it sustains all of life. The lungs themselves are soft and spongy, filling much of the chest cavity. They do not move on their own, but are guided by the diaphragm, a dome-shaped muscle beneath them. When the diaphragm contracts, it flattens downward, enlarging the chest cavity and drawing air inward. When it relaxes, it rises again, pushing air gently outward. Alongside it, the muscles between the ribs assist, lifting and expanding the chest during deeper breaths. In this way, breathing is not forced, but a gentle flow, an opening and closing, like waves rolling steadily onto a shore. The rhythm of breath adjusts easily to the body's needs. At rest, it is slow and calm, drawing in just enough oxygen to sustain the cells. During exertion, it quickens, pulling in greater volumes, expelling carbon dioxide more rapidly. The nervous system monitors levels of oxygen and carbon dioxide in the blood, sending signals to the diaphragm and chest muscles to adjust accordingly. This regulation happens without conscious thought, though we also hold the unique ability to control our breath when we wish. We can slow it, deepen it, or hold it, using this connection between voluntary and involuntary control as a means of calm. Breath is not only about gases, but also about connection. With each inhale, the body joins the wider world, drawing in molecules that have traveled across sky and sea, molecules that have been part of countless cycles of life. With each exhale, the body gives back, returning carbon dioxide that will be taken up by plants, used in their own cycles of growth. The respiratory system reminds us that life is not isolated, but part of a larger exchange, a constant sharing between organism and environment. Within the lungs, the surface for this exchange is immense. Though the alveoli are tiny, their combined surface area is vast, nearly the size of a tennis court, folded carefully within the chest. This expanse ensures that oxygen can always be absorbed in sufficient amounts, and carbon dioxide released with ease. It is a design of remarkable efficiency, silent and graceful, carrying on without pause. The respiratory system also plays roles beyond simple gas exchange. It assists in maintaining pH balance in the blood by regulating levels of carbon dioxide. It aids in vocalization, as air passing through the larynx vibrates the vocal cords, producing sound. It contributes to the sense of smell, as air flows over receptors in the nasal cavity. Each breath, then, is not just survival, but communication, balance, and perception. Breathing, though vital, is also deeply calming. To focus on the breath is to focus on rhythm. Inhale, exhale, a cycle repeated countless times each day, yet never rushed, never absent. Even as you sleep, the rhythm continues. Steady and sure, the body ensures it through the brainstem, which sends signals automatically to the diaphragm and muscles. You may not be aware of it, but your breath is always guided, always present, always faithful. It is soothing to reflect that the very air filling your lungs tonight may once have drifted over oceans, through forests, across mountains. The oxygen you inhale may have been released by a tree, bathed in sunlight, or by a blade of grass in a meadow. In breathing, you join with these cycles, taking part in the endless exchange that unites all living things. The respiratory system is the body's contribution to this greater pattern, allowing you to draw life inward and to give life back outward, endlessly, gently. Even the sounds of breath are calming. The soft rush of air entering, the quiet sigh of it leaving, the subtle rise and fall of the chest. These sounds, simple and natural, are reminders of continuity. They accompany every moment of life, unnoticed most of the time, but deeply reassuring when attended to. They tell you that life continues, rhythmically, peacefully, no matter what else may come. So, as you rest tonight, imagine your lungs expanding and contracting, the alveoli opening and closing, the blood flowing past to receive oxygen and release carbon dioxide. Imagine the diaphragm moving like a quiet bellows, guiding the air with perfect rhythm. Imagine the vast exchange, invisible yet constant, sustaining you moment by moment. This is the respiratory system breath and exchange, simple yet profound, always present, always faithful, carrying you gently through the night. 12. The digestive system nourishment transformed. Every day, we take in food and drink, simple acts of eating and sipping that sustain us without much thought. Yet within the body, these acts begin a long and intricate journey. What we swallow is not yet ready for the cells that depend on it. It must be broken down, transformed, and absorbed. The digestive system is the quiet craftsman of this process, working steadily and without pause to turn meals into nourishment, to turn matter from the outside world into the very energy and substance of the body. The journey of digestion begins in the mouth. Here, teeth bite and grind, breaking food into smaller pieces, making it easier to swallow and exposing more surface for enzymes to act upon. Saliva moistens each bite, carrying with it enzymes that already begin breaking down starches into simpler sugars. The tongue guides the softened food toward the throat, and the act of swallowing sends it downward into the esophagus, the muscular tube that leads to the stomach. Along this passage, muscles contract in slow waves, pushing food along, never hurried, never stopping, but always progressing downward. When food reaches the stomach, it enters a chamber of muscle and glands. The stomach churns gently, its walls contracting in rhythm to mix food with gastric juices. These juices, a blend of acid and enzymes, break proteins into smaller fragments, preparing them for later stages of digestion. The stomach is not just a sack for holding food. It is a workshop where meals are transformed into a semi-liquid mixture called chyme. Hours may pass as this process continues, the stomach releasing its contents slowly into the small intestine in amounts that can be managed, never overwhelming the next stage. The small intestine is the true heart of digestion and absorption. Though narrow in diameter, it is long, stretching meters within the abdomen, folded and coiled so that it may fit. Its inner walls are covered with tiny finger-like projections called villi, and each villus is lined with even smaller microvilli, creating a vast surface area. It is here that nutrients pass into the blood, carried away to cells throughout the body. Enzymes from the pancreas and bile from the liver assist in this process. The pancreas provides enzymes that break down proteins, carbohydrates, and fats into their simplest forms, while the liver produces bile, stored in the gallbladder, which emulsifies fats, making them easier to digest. Together, these secretions complete the work begun in the mouth and stomach, ensuring that every nutrient is available for absorption. Glucose, amino acids, fatty acids, vitamins, and minerals. All of these are taken up by the small intestine and passed into the bloodstream or lymph. From here, they are carried to the liver, where they may be processed, stored, or distributed as needed. Some are used immediately for energy, others saved for later, others transformed into new molecules to build and repair tissues. In this way, the food once outside of you becomes part of you, woven into the very structure of your body. What remains, materials that cannot be digested or absorbed, passes onward into the large intestine. Here, water is reabsorbed, conserving the body's fluids, while bacteria living within the colon assist in breaking down some of the remaining material. These bacteria, often called the gut flora or microbiome, form their own community, coexisting with the body, aiding in digestion, producing vitamins, and supporting immune health. Their presence reminds us that even within, we live in partnership with other forms of life. Eventually, the waste that remains is compacted and stored in the rectum until it is released. This final step, though often overlooked, is part of the body's rhythm of balance, removing what is no longer needed and making way for the cycle to begin again. The digestive system is more than a process of breakdown. It is also a guardian of health. The lining of the intestines forms a barrier, allowing nutrients to pass, but keeping harmful substances out. Immune cells stationed along the digestive tract monitor what enters, ready to respond if danger appears. In this way, digestion is not only nourishment, but also protection, keeping the body safe as it absorbs what it requires. The process of digestion is not rushed, but steady, unfolding over many hours. From the first bite to the final absorption, a meal may take nearly a full day to complete its journey. This slowness is not inefficiency, but care. The body ensures that nutrients are fully extracted, that nothing of value is wasted. It is a reminder that life is patient, that nourishment is best taken and transformed in its own time. What is soothing to consider is that this process continues even now. As you rest, perhaps you ate hours ago, perhaps you have not eaten since earlier in the day, yet your digestive system continues its gentle rhythm. Muscles of the intestines contract in waves, enzymes break down molecules, villi absorb nutrients, blood carries them away. This work is invisible, yet constant, sustaining you without thought or effort. Digestion also connects us to the world beyond ourselves. Every meal is a meeting of inner and outer, a joining of what was once separate, a fruit ripened in sunlight, a grain grown from soil, a leaf drawing energy from the air. All of these are transformed within you, becoming part of your body, fueling your movement, your thought, your life. The digestive system is the bridge that makes this possible, the quiet alchemy that turns the world into self. Even the sensations of digestion are gentle reminders of its presence. The soft fullness after eating, the quiet sounds of the stomach and intestines as they move, the gradual return of hunger. Hours later, all are signs of the body's steady rhythm, its ongoing transformation of nourishment. These sensations are not disturbances, but whispers, subtle messages that the body is caring for itself, moment by moment. So, as you lie in stillness tonight, let your thoughts rest on this process. Imagine food moving calmly along its path, broken down, absorbed, carried to every cell. Imagine enzymes working silently, villi reaching outward to gather nutrients, blood vessels carrying energy away to where it is needed most. Imagine the partnership of organs, the stomach, the pancreas, the liver, the intestines, each with its role, each contributing to the whole, all of it happening quietly, without command, sustaining you as you drift into rest. This is the digestive system nourishment transformed, a patient and faithful process, always unfolding, always providing. It is the body's way of turning the gifts of the world into the energy of life, ensuring that you remain strong, balanced, and whole. 13. The urinary system filtering and renewal. Deep within the body lies a system of quiet guardianship, a process that works steadily to cleanse, to balance, and to renew. This is the urinary system, the body's filtration network, responsible for removing waste while preserving the delicate balance of water, salts, and minerals that life depends upon. It is not a system of drama or sudden motion, but of constant attention, like a caretaker tending faithfully to the waters of a pool, keeping them clear and balanced day after day. At the center of this system are the kidneys, two bean-shaped organs resting against the back wall of the abdomen, one on each side of the spine. Each is about the size of a fist, yet within them lies an extraordinary capacity for purification. Every day, the kidneys filter hundreds of liters of blood, removing wastes, toxins, and excess substances, while returning what the body needs to keep. Their work is so constant, so essential, that without them, life could not be sustained for long. Within each kidney are millions of tiny filtering units called nephrons. Each nephron is like a microscopic workshop, where blood enters, is examined, and is adjusted. At the start of the nephron lies a small cluster of capillaries called the glomerulus. Here, blood is pushed through delicate membranes, and water, salts, and small molecules pass into the nephron, while larger proteins and cells remain behind. This initial filtrate, much like plasma, begins its journey through the twisting tubules of the nephron, where careful adjustments are made. Some substances are reabsorbed glucose, amino acids, and much of the water returning to the bloodstream. Others, such as urea and excess salts, are secreted into the filtrate. By the end of this journey, the liquid has been transformed into urine, carrying waste away from the body. This process is not random, but finely tuned. The kidneys are constantly sensing the body's needs and adjusting their activity. If water levels are low, they conserve, producing concentrated urine that is dark and small in volume. If water is abundant, they release it freely, producing pale, Diluted urine. If blood pressure drops, they signal for changes that help raise it again, releasing hormones that cause vessels to tighten and prompting the body to hold more water and salt. If the blood becomes too acidic or too alkaline, the kidneys adjust the balance of hydrogen and bicarbonate ions, preserving the narrow range needed for survival. Every moment, they are watching, adjusting, ensuring that the internal environment remains steady. From the kidneys, urine flows into narrow tubes called ureters, which carry it downward to the bladder. The bladder is a hollow, muscular organ that stores urine until it is ready to be released. Its walls can stretch and expand, holding increasing amounts without discomfort, then contract when the time comes to empty. The process of urination is controlled both voluntarily and involuntarily, a cooperation between smooth muscle and nervous signals that ensures the body can release waste at the proper time. Finally, urine leaves the body through the urethra, completing the cycle of filtration and renewal. The urinary system is more than a system of removal. It is also a system of balance. By regulating water, salts, and acids, it keeps the body's chemistry in harmony. By controlling blood pressure, it ensures that the cardiovascular system flows steadily. By producing hormones such as erythropoietin, which stimulates the production of red blood cells, it contributes to the vitality of the blood itself. The kidneys are not passive filters. They are active regulators, quietly guiding the entire body toward equilibrium. It is easy to overlook the urinary system, for its work is silent and hidden, but its importance is profound. To reflect on it is to realize how carefully the body maintains itself, how it removes what is unnecessary while preserving what is vital. Every sip of water you drink, every bite of food you eat, eventually comes under its care, adjusted and balanced before being released. The body, through the urinary system, keeps its inner waters clear, its salts steady, its wastes removed. There is also a rhythm to this system, a cycle of filling and emptying, conserving and releasing, that parallels other rhythms of the body. Just as the heart beats and the lungs breathe, the kidneys filter. Just as the day brings waking and night brings rest, the bladder fills and empties. These rhythms, though quieter, are no less essential. They are the background hum of life, the gentle maintenance that allows the body to continue unburdened. Even now, as you rest, your kidneys are at work. Blood flows through them, minute by minute, filtered and cleansed. Wastes are carried away, excess water removed, balance restored. The bladder may fill slowly during the night, its walls stretching gently, holding until the morning. This quiet work continues without thought, without command, faithful and constant. To imagine the urinary system is to imagine streams and reservoirs within. The kidneys are the springs, filtering and refreshing. The ureters are small rivers, carrying the flow onward. The bladder is a reservoir, holding until release. And the urethra is the outlet, returning what is no longer needed back to the outside world. Together, these parts form a cycle, a circle of purification, a gentle flow that never ceases. This is the essence of the urinary system filtering and renewal. It is the caretaker of the body's internal environment, ensuring that wastes do not accumulate, that balance is preserved, that the blood remains clear and steady. Its work is unseen, but its effects are everywhere. In every cell nourished by clean blood, in every system supported by stable fluids, in every moment of health sustained by balance. So, as you rest tonight, take comfort in this hidden process. Your body is cleansing itself, refreshing its waters, maintaining its balance. You do not need to guide it. You do not need to think of it. The kidneys and their partners work faithfully, filtering and renewing, carrying you gently through the night. 14. The muscular system, motion and warmth. Within your body lies a source of motion, a quiet strength that allows you to move, to breathe, to smile, and even to keep your heart beating without pause. This strength comes from the muscular system, a vast network of tissues designed to contract and relax, producing both movement and heat. Muscles are the engines of the body, yet they work in silence, their countless fibers pulling and releasing in perfect harmony, moment by moment. The human body contains more than 600 muscles, ranging in size from the powerful quadriceps of the thigh to the delicate fibers that control the eyelids. Each one is built on the same principle. Long, slender cells called muscle fibers that can shorten when stimulated, creating force. When many fibers contract together, the effect is magnified, producing visible motion or maintaining posture. Though simple in concept, this ability shapes nearly everything the body can do. Muscles are not all the same. They exist in 3 distinct forms, each with its own role. The first is skeletal muscle, attached to bones by tendons. These muscles are under voluntary control, meaning you can choose when to move them. They allow you to walk, lift, grasp, speak, and create the countless gestures that shape expression and communication. Their contractions can be strong and powerful, as in running or lifting, or delicate and precise, as in writing or playing an instrument. The second form is smooth muscle, found within the walls of hollow organs such as the stomach, intestines, blood vessels, and bladder. These muscles are involuntary, working without conscious thought. They contract in waves, propelling food along the digestive tract, guiding urine from the bladder, adjusting the diameter of blood vessels to regulate pressure. Their motions are gentle, slow, and rhythmic, always maintaining the body's internal processes without need for direction. The third form is cardiac muscle, found only in the heart. Like skeletal muscle, it is striated, giving it strength, yet like smooth muscle, it is involuntary. Cardiac muscle fibers are unique, connected by special junctions that allow them to contract in unison. This creates the steady beat of the heart, pumping blood through the body without pause. From before birth to the final moment of life, these muscles work faithfully, never tiring, never ceasing. Muscles contract because of the interaction of proteins within their fibers. Actin and myosin, arranged in overlapping patterns, slide past one another when triggered by electrical signals from nerves. This sliding shortens the fiber, producing contraction. When the signal ends, the proteins slide back, and the fiber relaxes. Though this process occurs on a microscopic scale, when multiplied by billions of fibers across hundreds of muscles, it creates all the strength, motion, and stability of the body. The muscular system does more than produce movement. It also generates warmth. Every contraction releases a small amount of heat, and this heat helps maintain body temperature. When the body becomes cold, muscles may contract rapidly in shivers, producing warmth through countless tiny movements. In this way, muscles are not only engines of motion, but also sources of thermal balance, keeping the body steady even in the chill of winter. Muscles also play a role in posture and stability. Even when you are not actively moving, muscles contract subtly to hold you upright, to balance your head, to stabilize your joints. These contractions are often unnoticed, yet they are essential. Without them, standing, Sitting, or even maintaining the position of the eyes would be impossible. The muscular system is always active, adjusting with small shifts, keeping the body aligned against the pull of gravity. The connection between muscles and the nervous system is intimate. Nerves send signals to muscle fibers, telling them when to contract and when to rest. Each nerve may control many fibers, forming a motor unit, and by recruiting more or fewer units, the body can produce gentle or powerful motion as needed. This coordination is what allows a hand to lift a heavy weight one moment and to perform delicate tasks the next. Muscles also adapt to the demands placed upon them. When used regularly, they grow stronger and more efficient. Fibers increase in size, and their ability to produce energy improves. When unused, they weaken, shrinking slowly over time. This adaptability allows the body to respond to the patterns of life, growing in strength when needed, conserving energy when not. Even now, as you rest, your muscular system is at work. The diaphragm contracts and relaxes with each breath, drawing air into the lungs. Smooth muscles of the digestive tract continue their gentle waves, moving food along. The cardiac muscle of the heart beats steadily, sending blood through the vessels. Muscles in your neck and back hold your head and spine in position, even as you recline. Though stillness may feel like absence of motion, the truth is that countless muscles are quietly active, sustaining life. It is calming to imagine the harmony of this system. Picture the heart's muscle fibers contracting together, a unified rhythm, sending blood forward. Picture the slow waves of smooth muscle in the intestines, moving gently, unhurriedly, fulfilling their task. Picture the skeletal muscles, now at rest, their fibers relaxed, storing energy for the movements of tomorrow. Each type of muscle, in its own way, contributes to the whole, each with its rhythm, each with its role. The muscular system is also expressive. The small muscles of the face shape the language of emotion, forming smiles, frowns, and subtle gestures that convey feeling. The muscles of the larynx, working with the respiratory system, create the vibrations of speech and song. In these ways, muscles extend beyond survival, allowing communication, artistry, and connection. As you reflect on the muscular system, let the thought of its constancy bring you peace. It is always at work, whether in motion or in stillness. It is the strength that carries you through the day, the warmth that protects you in the cold, the rhythm that beats in your chest as you rest. It is the body's quiet engine, tireless and faithful, sustaining you from moment to moment. So as you lie in calm, imagine your muscles resting, fibers softening, energy stored for tomorrow. Imagine the heart continuing its steady beat, the diaphragm guiding each breath, the smooth muscles carrying on their hidden tasks. This is the muscular system, motion and warmth, strength and rhythm, always present, always working, even in the quietest of nights. 15. The skeletal system, framework and shield. Beneath the skin, beneath the muscles, there lies a structure that gives the human body its form. It is the skeletal system, a framework of bone and cartilage that supports, protects, and anchors every part of life within. Without it, the body would collapse into softness, unable to stand, unable to move. With it, the body is upright, balanced, and strong, a living architecture that endures quietly through the years. The human skeleton is composed of more than 200 bones, each with its own shape and purpose. Some are long and slender, forming the arms and legs, designed for leverage and movement. Some are flat, like the bones of the skull, providing wide surfaces of protection. Others are irregular, curved, and complex, fitting together like pieces of a puzzle. Together, they form a structure that is both solid and adaptable, strong enough to resist force, yet light enough to allow motion. Bones are not lifeless stone, though they may appear so. They are living tissue, constantly renewed, constantly reshaped. Within them lies marrow, soft and vital, where new blood cells are formed. Red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets all begin their journey within this hidden tissue, emerging to circulate and serve. Bones also act as reservoirs of minerals, storing calcium and phosphorus, releasing them into the blood when needed, preserving balance within the body. Each bone is covered by a smooth layer of compact bone, dense and strong, beneath which lies spongy bone, lighter and filled with spaces that reduce weight while maintaining strength. This balance of dense and porous tissue allows bones to withstand pressure without becoming too heavy. A harmony of strength and lightness, shaped by evolution. The skeleton is divided into two main regions. The axial skeleton forms the central column, including the skull, the spine, the ribs, and the sternum. These bones protect the brain, the spinal cord, and the organs of the chest, while providing the central support for the body. The appendicular skeleton includes the bones of the arms, legs, shoulders, and hips. These provide mobility, allowing the body to reach, to grasp, to walk, to run. Together, the axial and appendicular skeletons create a system that is both protective and dynamic, both a shield and a lever. The skull is among the most remarkable structures of the skeleton. Composed of many bones fused together, it forms a protective case around the brain, one of the body's most delicate and vital organs. Openings within the skull allow the passage of nerves and blood vessels, linking the brain to the senses of sight, hearing, smell, and taste. The jaws, hinged at the sides, allow for chewing and speech. Though solid, the skull is also intricate, a testament to the body's careful design. The spine, or vertebral column, is another wonder. Composed of more than 30 vertebrae stacked in a column, it is both flexible and strong. Between the vertebrae lie discs of cartilage, cushioning and allowing motion. The spine protects the spinal cord within its canal, while also supporting the body's weight and allowing for bending and twisting. At its base, the sacrum and coccyx anchor the skeleton, connecting it to the pelvis. The ribs, curved and graceful, form a cage around the heart and lungs. Flexible yet protective, they rise and fall with each breath, expanding to allow the lungs to fill, contracting to release air. The sternum, or breastbone, lies at the center, anchoring the ribs in place. This cage, though light, is strong enough to guard the vital organs of the chest, while still permitting the motion of breathing. Bones do not work alone. They meet at joints, places where two or more bones come together. Some joints are immovable, like the sutures of the skull, where bones fuse to form a solid structure. Others are slightly movable, like those of the spine, which bend and flex while remaining stable. The most mobile are synovial joints, found in the shoulders, hips, knees, and elbows. These joints are cushioned by cartilage, lubricated by synovial fluid, and stabilized by ligaments and tendons. Together, they allow for smooth motion, from the wide sweep of the arm to the fine movements of the fingers. Cartilage itself plays a quiet but vital role, Softer than bone, it provides cushioning at joints, prevents friction, and allows bones to glide against one another without wear. In the nose and ears, cartilage provides structure while remaining flexible. In the developing skeleton of a child, bones begin as cartilage, gradually hardening through a process called ossification. Even in adulthood, cartilage remains, protecting and supporting where bone alone would be too rigid. The skeletal system is not static, but dynamic. Bones are constantly being broken down and rebuilt, a process guided by specialized cells. Osteoclasts resorb old bone, while osteoblasts lay down new bone. This remodeling allows bones to adapt to the stresses placed upon them. When used regularly, they grow stronger. When unused, they weaken. This adaptability ensures that the skeleton remains suited to the life it carries. The importance of the skeletal system extends beyond structure and protection. It also provides the anchors for muscles, making movement possible. Every contraction of a muscle pulls on a bone, creating motion through the levers of the skeleton. Without bones, muscles would have nothing to act upon. Without muscles, bones would remain still. Together, they form the framework of locomotion, allowing the body to move through the world with strength and grace. Even as you rest, your skeleton supports you. Bones hold your form, maintaining posture, protecting the organs within. The spine curves gently, cradling the body. The ribs rise and fall with each breath, shielding the lungs as they expand. The skull surrounds the brain, guarding it as thoughts drift toward dreams. Silent and steady, the skeleton remains, enduring through stillness as faithfully as through motion. To reflect on the skeletal system is to reflect on endurance. Bones last beyond the flesh, reminders of the strength that once carried life. Yet in the living body, they are more than relics. They are dynamic, renewing, serving, protecting. They are the shield of the organs, the framework of the form, the anchors of motion. So, as you lie in calm tonight, imagine this hidden framework within you. Picture the spine, aligned and strong. Picture the ribs curving gently, rising with breath. Picture the long bones of the arms and legs, resting, yet ready for motion. Picture the skull, quiet guardian of the mind. This is the skeletal system framework and shield, strength and stability, always present, always faithful, carrying you gently through every moment of life. 16. The immune and lymphatic systems, silent guardians, within the body, beyond the systems that move and nourish. There lies another that protects, a quiet shield always at work. This is the immune system, together with its close partner, the lymphatic system. They are not concerned with motion or digestion or breathing, but with defense. Their task is to guard the body against harm, to recognize what belongs and what does not, to ensure that life may continue in safety. They do their work silently, without conscious thought, often without us even knowing. And yet, without them, the body would be vulnerable, open to countless threats. The immune system is not a single organ, but a network spread throughout the body. It includes cells, tissues, and organs, each playing a role. White blood cells, or leukocytes, are its soldiers, moving through blood and tissues, seeking out what does not belong. Some engulf invaders, breaking them down. Others release signals that call for reinforcements. Still others create antibodies, proteins that recognize and neutralize specific threats. Together, They form a coordinated defense, ready to respond whenever balance is disturbed. These cells are supported by the lymphatic system, a network of vessels, nodes, and organs that carries clear fluid called lymph. This fluid originates as plasma that seeps out of blood vessels, bathing the tissues. It is collected by lymphatic vessels and returned to the blood, but not before it passes through lymph nodes, small checkpoints scattered throughout the body. Within these nodes, immune cells monitor the lymph, searching for signs of infection or abnormality. If they find them, they multiply, producing more defenders, preparing the body's response. The lymphatic system also includes larger organs. The spleen, located in the upper left of the abdomen, filters blood directly, removing old red blood cells and capturing pathogens. It is both a recycling center and a defense station. The thymus, located in the chest behind the sternum, is where certain immune cells mature, learning to distinguish self from non-self. Even the bone marrow, deep within bones, plays a role, for it is here that many immune cells are born. Beginning their journey of defense, one of the most remarkable features of the immune system is its ability to learn. When it encounters a pathogen for the first time, the response may be slower, cautious, but it remembers. Cells store the memory of that invader, and if it appears again, the response is swift and powerful. This is the principle of immunity, the reason why some illnesses can only affect us once, and why vaccines can prepare the body for threats without causing disease. The immune system, then, is not only reactive, but adaptive, shaping itself over time, growing wiser with each encounter. Yet the immune system is not always about attack. Equally important is its ability to tolerate, to recognize what belongs and to leave it unharmed. The body is filled with cells and molecules that must be preserved, and the immune system must learn to distinguish friend from foe. Too much reaction, and it may turn against the self, creating autoimmune disease. Too little, and it may fail to protect against infection. Balance is essential, and the immune system, like every other, seeks this steady middle path. The lymphatic system contributes further by maintaining fluid balance. As blood delivers nutrients to tissues, some fluid escapes into the spaces between cells. Without recovery, the body would swell with excess water. The lymphatic vessels collect this fluid, now called lymph. In this way, they not only assist immunity but also preserve the body's inner environment, keeping tissues from becoming heavy or congested. What is soothing to consider is how much of this work is unnoticed. Every moment, white blood cells move through your body, patrolling quietly. Lymph flows through its vessels, filtered by nodes, cleansed before it returns to the blood. Spleen and thymus work in silence, training and recycling, maintaining readiness. All of this happens without sensation, without thought, without demand. You live unaware of these guardians, and yet they are always present, always active. Even the body's response to small wounds reveals their presence. A cut on the skin may redden, warm, and swell. This is inflammation, the immune system rushing to the site, bringing blood, fluid, and cells to protect and repair. It may be uncomfortable, but it is also healing, a sign that the guardians are at work. Once the threat is resolved, the inflammation subsides, balance returns, and the body continues. The immune and lymphatic systems also remind us of connection. The body is not isolated. It is always in contact with the world. With every breath, particles enter the lungs. With every meal, Molecules pass through the digestive tract. With every touch, the skin encounters new surfaces. The immune system ensures that these encounters do not overwhelm, that what is harmful is removed, while what is nourishing is welcomed. It is the body's interpreter of the outside world, choosing carefully, always protecting, always balancing. As you rest tonight, these guardians are active. White blood cells drift through your vessels, lymph flows through its quiet channels, the spleen filters, the bone marrow produces, the thymus trains. They do not sleep, for their work is constant, but they are not restless. They are steady, calm, and sure, like watchful sentinels at the edges of a quiet town, ensuring that peace is maintained. To imagine them is to imagine a silent army, invisible yet faithful, always on guard, yet gentle in their presence. They do not seek recognition, only balance. They allow the body to move, to eat, to breathe, to sleep, without fear, without interruption. They are the unseen companions of life, the protectors of its continuity. So, as you lie in stillness, take comfort in their presence. Your body is not defenseless, but shielded by systems that never cease. The immune and lymphatic systems are silent guardians, tireless and faithful, carrying out their work without sound, without demand, always keeping you safe, always guiding you toward balance. 17. The reproductive system, continuity of life. All the systems we have spoken of so far, the cardiovascular, the respiratory, the digestive, the urinary, the skeletal, the muscular, the endocrine, each of them works to preserve the life of the individual, to sustain the body day by day, moment by moment. Yet there is another system whose purpose reaches beyond the individual. It does not exist to maintain balance for today alone, but to carry life forward into tomorrow. This is the reproductive system, the system of continuity, ensuring that the story of humanity is passed from one generation to the next. The reproductive system is unique among body systems because it is not essential for the survival of one person, yet it is essential for the survival of the species. A heart is required for circulation, lungs for breathing, kidneys for cleansing, but reproduction is not necessary for an individual's continued existence. Instead, it is an investment in the future, a way for life to extend beyond the boundary of a single body. The system takes different forms in male and female bodies, each with organs designed for their role in creating new life. In males, the primary organs are the testes, located within the scrotum. These produce sperm cells, the small, motile carriers of genetic information. They also produce testosterone, the hormone that shapes male traits, guiding the development of deeper voice, muscle mass, and reproductive function. From the testes, sperm travel through a series of ducts, the epididymis, where they mature and are stored, then through the vas deferens, leading eventually to the urethra. Along the way, glands such as the seminal vesicles and prostate add fluids, creating semen, which provides nourishment and protection for the sperm on their journey. In females, the central organs are the ovaries, located in the pelvic cavity. These produce eggs, or ova, much larger cells than sperm, each carrying half of the genetic code needed to begin life. The ovaries also release hormones, primarily estrogen and progesterone, which guide the menstrual cycle, prepare the body for pregnancy, and shape female traits. Each month, typically, one ovary releases a mature egg in a process called ovulation. The egg travels into the fallopian tube, where it may meet a sperm cell. If fertilization occurs, the egg and sperm unite, forming a zygote, the very first cell of new life. From this beginning, the zygote travels down the fallopian tube to the uterus, a muscular, pear-shaped organ designed to nurture and protect. The uterus is remarkable in its adaptability. Its inner lining, the endometrium, thickens each month in preparation to receive a fertilized egg. If none arrives, the lining is shed, creating the menstrual cycle. But if a zygote implants, the uterus becomes a cradle, supporting the developing embryo and later fetus through months of growth. Blood vessels expand, nutrients are shared, and the placenta forms, connecting mother and child in a bond of nourishment and protection. The act of childbirth, guided by powerful contractions of the uterine muscle, brings new life into the world. Hormones play a crucial role, orchestrating the timing and progression of labor. The process is intense, yet it is also natural, a culmination of months of preparation, the fulfillment of the reproductive system's purpose. The reproductive system does more than create new life. It also produces hormones that shape the body in broader ways. In males, testosterone supports not only sperm production, but also muscle development, bone density, and mood. In females, estrogen and progesterone guide cycles of fertility, influence bone health, and play roles in cardiovascular function. These hormones remind us that reproduction is deeply connected to the body's overall physiology, influencing health beyond the act of creating offspring. The system is also closely tied to human connection and intimacy. Beyond its biological role, it supports bonds between partners, shaping behaviors that foster closeness and care. Oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone, rises during touch and intimacy, deepening trust and connection. In this way, reproduction is not only about the continuation of life, but also about the weaving of relationships, the bonds that create families and communities. It is soothing to consider that the reproductive system connects us across generations. Each of us is the result of countless unions before, stretching back through history, unbroken across millennia. The genetic material within your cells was carried forward through parents, grandparents, and ancestors long past, shaped and blended, yet continuous. To reflect on this is to feel a sense of belonging, a reminder that life is larger than the individual, that each person is a chapter in a story that began long before and will continue long after. Even when not actively engaged in reproduction, the system is at work, maintaining cycles, releasing hormones, adjusting tissues, preparing for possibilities. For women, this rhythm appears in the menstrual cycle, a monthly ebb and flow, a quiet pattern of readiness and renewal. For men, sperm are produced continuously, day after day, ensuring the potential for reproduction at any time. These rhythms, though often unnoticed, are part of the body's natural harmony, always present, always steady. As with every system, balance is essential. The reproductive system interacts with the endocrine system, the nervous system, the circulatory system, and more. Hormones guide cycles. Blood supplies nourishment. Nerves carry signals of readiness and response. None of these parts exist in isolation. Together, they form a unified process. One more example of the body's quiet interconnectedness. As you rest tonight, the reproductive system, too, is active. Hormones circulate. Cycles continue. Cells are prepared. Whether or not they are called upon for the creation of new life, their presence is part of you, a reminder of continuity, of possibility, of connection to all who came before and all who may come after. To think of the reproductive system is to think of life's persistence. It is the system that ensures humanity endures, that carries forward the spark of existence into the future. It is not urgent, not constant like the heartbeat or the breath, but patient, steady, waiting for its moment, ready when called upon. So let your thoughts rest on this idea that within you lies not only the strength to live, but also the potential to carry life forward. Whether or not that potential is ever realized, it connects you to a greater story, the endless flow of generations. This is the reproductive system continuity of life, the bridge between present and future, the gentle assurance that life endures. 18. The integumentary system, the body's outer layer. Every body carries with it a boundary, a surface that separates the inner world from the outer. This surface is not just a covering, but a living, breathing system, the integumentary system. It includes the skin, the largest organ of the body, as well as the hair and nails that extend from it. Together, they form the body's outer layer, shielding, protecting, and connecting us to the world around us. The skin is remarkable in both its size and its function. Spread across the body, it measures several square meters in area and weighs more than any other organ. It is more than a surface. It is a shield, a sensor, and a regulator. It protects against injury, prevents loss of fluids, keeps harmful microorganisms out, and helps maintain temperature. At the same time, it allows sensation, carrying the gentle touch of air, the warmth of sunlight, the softness of fabric, into awareness. It is a guardian, but also a gateway, connecting the body both to itself and to its environment. The skin is made of 3 main layers. The outermost is the epidermis, thin but vital. This layer is constantly renewed, with new cells rising from below to replace those shed from the surface. It is here that keratin, a tough protein, provides strength and waterproofing, preventing excess water loss and guarding against damage. Pigment cells within the epidermis produce melanin, which gives skin its color and protects against the effects of ultraviolet light. Though only millimeters thick, the epidermis is a first line of defense, a silent barrier always at work. Beneath it lies the dermis, thicker and stronger, filled with connective tissue, blood vessels, nerves, and glands. Here, the skin gains its elasticity and resilience. The dermis contains sweat glands, which release moisture to cool the body, and oil glands, which secrete sebum to keep the skin supple and protected. It also houses the roots of hair, which grow upward through the skin's surface, and sensory receptors, which detect touch, pressure, temperature, and pain. The dermis is not only a foundation for the epidermis above, but a living, responsive layer, constantly interacting with the body and the environment. Below the dermis lies the hypodermis, or subcutaneous layer, composed largely of fat and connective tissue. This layer cushions the body, insulates against cold, and serves as a reserve of energy. It anchors the skin to the muscles and bones beneath, ensuring stability while still allowing flexibility. Though less visible, the hypodermis completes the skin's role as both shield and support. Hair, too, is part of the integumentary system. Though often fine and unnoticed, it serves many purposes. On the scalp, it protects against heat and sunlight, On the body, it provides a degree of insulation and enhances the sense of touch by amplifying vibrations against the skin. Each hair grows from a follicle rooted in the dermis, nourished by tiny blood vessels, and shaped by hormones that influence its thickness, texture, and color. Hair grows in cycles, resting, shedding, and renewing, always in quiet rhythm. Nails, formed from hardened keratin, protect the tips of fingers and toes. They provide structure and support for delicate movements, allowing for grasping, scratching, and precise touch. Like hair, nails grow continuously, slowly extending outward from roots beneath the skin. They may seem simple, but they are part of the body's design, reinforcing its outer edges, giving both function and form. The integumentary system is also deeply involved in regulating body temperature. When heat rises, sweat glands release moisture, and as the sweat evaporates, it cools the body. At the same time, blood vessels near the skin dilate, allowing more blood to flow close to the surface, releasing warmth. When the body becomes cold, the process reverses. Blood vessels constrict, conserving heat, and tiny muscles at the base of hairs contract, causing hairs to rise in what we know as goosebumps, an ancient response meant to trap air for insulation. In these ways, the skin helps maintain the body's steady inner temperature, another part of homeostasis. The skin also serves as a communicator. The flush of cheeks, the paling of fear, the glistening of sweat, all are signs of the body's inner state made visible on its surface. Through these subtle signals, the integumentary system reflects what is happening within, allowing others to see hints of emotion, health, or effort. It is a reminder that the body's surface is not a barrier alone, but also a medium of expression. Perhaps most important of all, the skin is a sensory organ. Nerves within it carry constant information, telling the brain of warmth, coolness, pressure, and contact. Through touch, the body feels the softness of fabric, the roughness of stone, the lightness of a breeze. Through pain receptors, it is warned of harm, prompting withdrawal before damage deepens. This sensory connection makes the skin not just a shield, but a means of awareness, a constant dialogue between the body and the world. It is soothing to consider that this outer layer, which seems so simple, is in truth so active. Even now, as you rest, your skin is maintaining its barrier, renewing its cells, balancing its moisture, regulating your temperature. Sweat glands may be at work, adjusting the body's heat. Hair continues its cycle of growth. Nails extend slowly, day by day. These processes are not loud or sudden, but steady, faithful, and constant. The integumentary system also connects us to the cycles of the world. Sunlight on the skin stimulates the production of vitamin D, essential for bone health. This subtle interaction between body and light is another reminder of how deeply we are woven into our environment. Each moment of contact, whether with sun, air, or touch, is processed and integrated by this outer layer, shaping both health and experience. To reflect on the integumentary system is to reflect on presence. It is the body's boundary, yet also its first connection to the outside. It is both shield and bridge, both protection and expression. It is vast, covering the body entirely, yet delicate, responsive to every change. It is the layer that renews, the layer that senses, the layer that guards. So as you rest tonight, imagine your skin, a soft, protective layer covering you from head to toe. Imagine the hair growing quietly, offering warmth and sensitivity. Imagine the nails, strong and steady, shielding the tips of fingers and toes. Imagine the glands, the vessels, the nerves, all working silently beneath the surface. This is the integumentary system, the body's outer layer, faithful and enduring. The gentle boundary that protects and connects you to the world. 19. Rest and repair. The physiology of sleep. As day fades into night, the body shifts into a different state, a rhythm of rest and renewal. While wakefulness is the time of action, sleep is the time of repair. It is not an absence of life, not a shutting down, but a carefully guided process in which the body and mind restore themselves. Every night, when you close your eyes and drift into stillness, your body begins this work that is essential for balance, healing, and continuation. Sleep is guided by rhythms, most notably the circadian rhythm, the internal clock that follows the cycle of day and night. This rhythm is influenced by light, particularly by the rising and setting of the sun. As evening approaches, light fades, and the brain's pineal gland releases melatonin, a hormone that signals the body to prepare for rest. Heart rate slows, temperature drops slightly, and muscles relax. The body enters a state of readiness, gently transitioning into sleep. Once sleep begins, it unfolds in cycles, each lasting about 90 minutes. Within each cycle, the body passes through several stages. The first is light sleep, when the body drifts from wakefulness into calm. Breathing slows, muscles loosen, and brain activity begins to quiet. This stage is a doorway, leading into deeper rest. The second stage of sleep brings further relaxation. Brain waves become slower, punctuated by bursts of activity that help consolidate memory and learning. Heart rate decreases further, body temperature falls, and awareness of the outside world diminishes. Though still light, this stage is restorative, forming much of the total sleep time. The third stage is deep sleep, sometimes called slow wave sleep. Here, the body is at its most restful. Brain waves slow into steady rhythms, muscles relax completely, and it becomes difficult to wake. During this stage, the body carries out much of its repair. Growth hormone is released, guiding the rebuilding of tissues and the strengthening of bones and muscles. The immune system is bolstered, producing cells and proteins that defend against illness. Energy stores are replenished, preparing the body for the day ahead. Deep sleep is the body's workshop, where physical renewal quietly takes place. Interwoven with these stages is rapid eye movement sleep, or REM sleep. In this stage, brain activity becomes more vivid, closer to waking levels, and dreams arise. The body's muscles are largely paralyzed, preventing action during dreams, while the brain processes emotions, consolidates memories, and integrates learning. REM sleep is particularly important for the mind, shaping memory, creativity, and emotional balance. Together, deep sleep and REM sleep form a cycle of repair and restoration, each essential in its own way. Throughout the night, the body alternates between these stages, moving through cycles again and again. Early in the night, deep sleep dominates, providing physical restoration. Later in the night, REM sleep becomes more frequent, guiding mental and emotional renewal. This rhythm ensures that both body and mind receive what they need. It is a balance that has been shaped by evolution, honed to support life in its fullest. During sleep, Many systems of the body adjust their activity. The cardiovascular system slows, with heart rate and blood pressure dropping, giving the heart a chance to rest. The respiratory system also calms, with breathing becoming slower and steadier. The digestive system shifts into a quieter rhythm, focusing on absorption and storage rather than active breakdown. Even the brain uses this time to clear waste products, flushing away what has accumulated during the day through a system of fluid circulation, sometimes called the glymphatic system. Sleep, then, is as much about cleansing as it is about restoration. The immune system also strengthens during sleep. Proteins called cytokines are released, supporting defense against infection and inflammation. This is why rest is so important during illness. The body uses sleep to marshal its forces, to heal, to recover. Sleep and immunity are partners, each supporting the other. What is soothing to consider is how natural this process is. You do not need to command it. You do not need to guide it. When the body grows weary, it seeks sleep, and when sleep arrives, the work of repair begins. Muscles are restored, bones strengthened, memories consolidated, emotions balanced. All of this happens without conscious effort, without awareness, quietly, faithfully. Dreams, too, are part of this rhythm. Though their content may be mysterious, they reflect the mind's activity during REM sleep. They are signs that the brain is processing, connecting, and imagining. Some dreams may be vivid, others fleeting, but all are part of the brain's nightly renewal. In this way, even the unconscious mind participates in the restoration of self. As you rest tonight, your body will move through these cycles. You may not notice them, but they will unfold with precision, one leading into another. Light sleep will ease you in. Deep sleep will restore your body. REM sleep will refresh your mind. By morning, you will have passed through several cycles, each contributing to balance and strength. The physiology of sleep reminds us that rest is not idleness. It is active, purposeful, essential. It is the time when the body heals, when the mind organizes, when the spirit is soothed. To sleep is to engage in one of life's most necessary rhythms, one that every living creature shares in some form. From the smallest insect to the largest mammal, rest is part of existence, a universal pattern of renewal. So, as you lie in stillness, let yourself sink into this rhythm. Know that as you drift deeper, your body is working for you, repairing, restoring, balancing. Your heart slows, your breath steadies, your muscles soften, your brain begins its nightly cleansing. You are being renewed, quietly, completely, with each passing cycle. This is sleep, rest, and repair, the body's way of healing itself, the gentle assurance that tomorrow you will wake restored. 20. Closing reflections on physiology. We have traveled together through the hidden landscapes of the human body, exploring system after system, from the smallest cells to the great networks that sustain life. Along the way, we have seen how tissues become organs, how organs join into systems, and how systems weave together into the living whole. This final reflection is a chance to pause, to take in the harmony of it all, and to see the body not as parts in isolation, but as a single, unified being. At the foundation lie the cells, the smallest living units. Each one is alive, bustling with activity, producing energy, building proteins, responding to signals. Alone, a cell is small, but together, trillions form the tissues of the body. These tissues, epithelial, connective, muscle, and nervous, are the fabric of life. woven into the skin, the muscles, the bones, and the organs. From them rise the structures we know: the heart, the lungs, the stomach, the brain. Each organ has its shape, its purpose, its quiet rhythm of work, and each organ belongs to a larger system where it joins others in a shared task: circulation, respiration, digestion, movement, defense, reproduction. Through all of this runs one unifying principle: balance. Homeostasis is the thread that ties physiology together, the constant adjustment that ensures stability, whether it is temperature, blood sugar, water, or pH. The body is always watching, always responding, always finding its way back to equilibrium. This balance is not stillness, but gentle motion, like a pendulum swaying and returning, like waves rising and falling, yet always returning to the shore. The nervous and endocrine systems guide this balance with messages, one swift, the other steady. The nervous system carries impulses with speed, guiding thought, motion, and sensation. The endocrine system sends hormones drifting in the blood, slower but enduring, shaping growth, metabolism, and mood. Together, they form the body's communication, linking all parts into one conversation. The cardiovascular system carries the river of blood, a flow that nourishes, cleanses, and connects. The respiratory system exchanges air, bringing in oxygen, releasing carbon dioxide, linking the body to the atmosphere with every breath. The digestive system transforms nourishment, turning the outside world into fuel and substance. The urinary system filters and renews, maintaining the clarity of the body's inner waters. The muscular and skeletal systems form the body's strength and form. Muscles move and warm, bones support and shield. Together, they make motion possible, while also protecting what is most delicate. The immune and lymphatic systems stand guard, silent but vigilant, preserving safety, balancing response. The reproductive system carries life forward, ensuring continuity, linking generations. The integumentary system, the skin, and its extensions, forms the outer boundary, protecting and sensing, connecting inner and outer worlds. And always, the body rests and repairs, guided by sleep. In sleep, tissues are restored, memories consolidated, emotions balanced, waste cleared. Sleep is as essential as breath and food, for it is the time of renewal. Through waking and sleeping, through action and rest, the body continues, always faithful to its rhythms. When viewed together, these systems form not a machine, but a living harmony. Each has its own role. The heart pumps blood, but only with the guidance of nerves. The stomach breaks down food, but only with the help of enzymes from the pancreas and bile from the liver. Every system depends on the others, and together they sustain the unity of the self. It is calming to consider how little of this requires our conscious effort. You do not think about your heart beating, yet it beats. You do not guide your kidneys as they filter, yet they filter. You do not command your immune cells to defend you, yet they defend. Much of physiology unfolds without awareness, a constant flow of processes that sustain life quietly, reliably, faithfully. This constancy is one of the body's great gifts. It allows you to focus on living, while the body itself takes care of survival. Physiology is more than science. It is also a story of connection between cells and tissues, between organs and systems, between body and environment. Each breath ties you to the air of the world. Each meal connects you to the soil and sun. Each heartbeat links your cells to one another. Even rest itself ties you to the greater cycles of night and day. To study physiology is to see these connections, to recognize that the body is never separate, but always part of a larger harmony. As we close this journey, let us reflect on the quiet miracle of simply being alive. Within you, countless processes are unfolding, invisible but essential. Blood flows, breath moves, muscles adjust, nerves carry signals, hormones drift, cells renew. All of it happens in concert, without pause, without demand. Your body is not fragile, but wise, guided by rhythms, honed through ages, designed for balance, resilience, and life. So as you rest, allow these reflections to bring you calm. Imagine the body not as parts, but as a whole, a single being shaped by countless harmonies. Imagine the quiet river of blood, the steady rhythm of breath, the strength of bone, the warmth of muscle, the shield of skin, the guardians within. Imagine the balance, always maintained, always restored. This is physiology, the study of life in motion, the story of the body's harmony. And now, as you drift deeper into stillness, let the thought settle that your body is whole, complete, and cared for by its own design. From cell to system, from breath to dream, it is always at work, always supporting you, always carrying you gently through the night.